Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Samurai and Tom. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Samurai and Tom. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Oh, wait. I'll get off that. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I love you too, Owen. I get a message in the box from my wife that said my son said he loved me. He's been driving me a little bit crazy today, but that is what it is. But thank you guys, everybody, so much for joining in tonight. We had a pretty exciting weekend. Saturday, me and Sammy were able to cover the St. John Heralds versus the Chalker. What were they?
Wildcats.
Wildcats. I can't remember anything half the time. Well, let's be honest, most of the time. Well, they're fine. It is what it is.
I can't do it. It's got to be the same.
Thank you guys all so much for joining us in tonight. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Exciting. We were out down at the beautiful Spire in downtown Geneva, Ohio.
Downtown, even though there's absolutely no evidence.
It's kind of close. It's kind of close. But
what's up, Coach Winchell over there at Edgewood Warriors? Can't wait to talk about that game because I don't know what was going on this weekend, but the county squads were scoring in bunches.
Yes, they were.
Bunches. They came out in droves, like Sammy likes to say.
Hey, listen, in droves, baby. I mean, Lakeside scored 100 points. Jefferson scored 100 points. St. John, I think they're still scoring touchdowns right now.
Yeah.
A super fun week. You know, a couple of our local squads had a rough go too. We're talking about that a little bit too. But really, it was a super fun weekend, doubleheader coverage. Yeah. We're going into this week where we're going to cover one game. And then, every week after this week is just kind of going to be, play by play. Tom, that shirt though, bro.
Harbor Mariners, baby. That was me.
Ryan is muted right now. He cannot be heard.
There you go. Sorry about that. I was talking to my son. He's making me feel bad. But yes, that's a great Harbor Mariners shirt right there. That's a classic tee. Where'd you pick that up at, or have you had it that long?
No, I haven't had it that long. All right. So I went down to Maiden, Ohio on 1028 Bridge Street, saw my boy Bart Cumberland, who is the official sponsor of 440 and Goal, and I got me an Harbor Mariners t-shirt. Got that swag, all right, because I would have been a Mariner, even though I live near Geneva.
While every part of me wants to just scream out how absolutely ugly those colors are and how second string those Harbor colors truly are, because when there was two schools, it was all about the black and gold, baby. I feel powerful in craftsmanship.
I feel powerful. All right.
The craftsmanship of that silver medal.
Good night. Yeah, well, we only got to deal with West is Best. We never were an actual Mariner, or I'm sorry, an actual Panther. But I did, though. My father. So, quick story for you guys. My father actually did buy me an Ashtabula Panthers Letterman jacket.
I remember that.
Which is still should be hanging in my mother's closet with absolutely nothing on it except for Panthers on the back. Because remember how the jackets, I don't know how they do it now, but the jackets back then, they still had a hoodie that you'd put up, but it had a zipper on it. So it's split down the back of it.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll put that up for an auction. You know what I'm saying? One night here.
I actually have an Ashtabula Panthers blanket, like a full-size blanket. When Money Pearson and I lived together in college, Sconey gave it to us, and that was like the backdrop of our room. And it was dope. I'll tell you what, I still have it somewhere. Maybe I'll throw that on up for auction with Sconey's blessing, of course, because you got to get a blessing from the Godfather on that.
That's right. I'll tell you what. For those of you listening, I'm going to go ahead and throw this feeler out right now. We are in the process of trying to do something that we think is very cool. We're trying to get some information all put together in one area. We've got some really good leads on some things and others we don't. And one of the places that it's going to be difficult for us to gather information are records from Ashtabula and Harbor. So I know that both of those schools have a super rich history, and that people are very, very detailed on their record keeping for both of those. So I'm willing to bet that even if you aren't the person who has it, you know somebody who has it. And what we're looking for here are the all-time leaders for Ashtabula High School in passing, rushing, receiving. We're looking for the all-time leaders for football for the Harbor Mariners for passing, rushing, receiving. If you can help us with that, or you know somebody who can, or just can give us an idea how to facilitate this, we're trying to get this great list together so it's available for everybody. Send one of us guys a message, because we're trying to get that. And all the other school, all the active schools, which it breaks my heart to admit that our schools aren't active anymore, have been absolutely fantastic. We're in the process of getting the all-time record holders from every other school. That's really great. So those two schools that aren't here anymore, if you or somebody you know knows how to get those stats or knows what those records are for sure, and they have to be verifiable of something.
Yes.
One of the problems is we have a lot of, listen, I went to school with the guy that rushed for 7,000 yards.
He rushed for 7,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, one game.
Yeah.
One game. Hey, listen, I'll do it one better.
No sound, brother.
I'll do it one better. Anyone who can give us verifiable stats for Harbor or Ashtabula, I will buy you your own 4-4 own goal hoodie or T-shirt of your choice on me, out of my pocketbook.
Yeah,
it's on me.
but
my pocketbook
again,
isn't cheap anymore after buying this castle. So,
speaking of that, we do want to go ahead and announce the 4-4 and goal first order is in. So those shirts are coming this week. We've got them. They're going to be delivered for all the people who need them.
Yeah, so we do have quite a few there, but don't forget, guys. I'm going to throw the banner up real quick, so you guys can let's see. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
So the T-shirts are 2 for 17. I'm sorry, T-shirts are 17 or 2 for 30. Hoodies are 27 or 2 for 50. The biggest reason why we do this more than anything, guys, is the proceeds are to help benefit the 4-4 and Goals Player of the Year scholarship that we're putting out there. Right there, you can see Sammy's got his Cash App. Tom's got his Venmo account. So we've had quite a few orders, to be honest with you, but we need to keep that rolling because we definitely need to raise some more money. And at another time, we do have to talk about that one friend of ours that wants to help us out, but we'll figure that one out. That's going to help. But
because we've got, don't forget, at the end of the year, 4-4 and Goal will be giving out a $500 scholarship to the Player of the Year. So it's gonna be 4-4 and Goals own Heisman that we're doing here. So,
it's not. I mean, what happens if it's a defensive player?
Hey, defensive players can win the Heisman.
They can win the Heisman too.
You don't know. I mean, I'm not saying.
Wilson won it, even though he went to that god awful school.
Right. It's not necessarily the running back, quarterback, but I'm not going to lie. The numbers that are going up this year at some of these schools on the offensive side of the ball are pretty ridiculous. But
that's right. You know what, guys? Without further ado, we may as well throw the touchdowns out there because we got a guy that people are actually here to see coming up next.
Yep. So throw it out there, Sam. Do your thing.
This is going to be the week 6 touchdowns. Now, unfortunately, just because of the access issues, we don't have the 6 touchdowns for our player of the week on here, but I'm sure he can give you a full recount of all of them.
Ray Zimmerman. That's right.
God.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so
What
what
week.
a week
And mind
of
you,
nonstop touchdowns.
We're missing 6 big ones from this guy right here, our player of the week. In case you don't know him, this is what we call him on the show.
Sonic, man.
I'm going to bring him on right now.
With that.
His name is Danny Bruckman. Danny, welcome to the show.
What's up, buddy?
How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Almost as good as you on Friday night, my friend.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns. How many yards did you go for? I know Sammy and Tom know.
Like 278.
That's all.
Just a cool 278.
You should have been able to get 300. I'm not sure where the hiccup was, but we'll take 278 if that's all we get. What a game, man! What a game.
So this year, you guys go, and it's away too. So you guys go down to Lakeview. It's been a tough year for you guys. You are one of, is it 3 or 4 seniors?
4.
Okay, so you're one of 4, the Falcon 4 seniors on a very, very young team. You have felt the bumps and bruises of this year. You guys have had some games where, the score doesn't look great. Even in the game we covered against Girard, you ran all over that team. So we knew that it was only a matter of time before Sonic was going to get his rings. And you go down to Lakeview and you throw 6 of them things on those guys.
6 things, boy. That's crazy. So, hey, Danny, I got a question for you, brother. All right, so I went to high school with Brandon Hanna, your offensive coordinator. Sammy and Ryan, they played with him, I believe. So my thing is, Brandon was a quarterback. When Brandon was on here, he was talking about his offensive scheme on how he's going to be airing the ball out. And then I see over the past couple weeks, I'm seeing more Danny Bruckman than I am seeing receivers, like in the statistical field. So can you talk about how your role was initially presented to you in this new offense that Brandon was running and how that role has changed over time with Brandon as the seasons progressed?
So I feel like, Coach was definitely relying on the pass game more, and I was just there to keep them in the box so then we can space out for the pass game. But I think that our receivers, we have a young team, so a lot of them have growing to do. They have growth. But I feel like that's really pushed my run game this year so far.
Absolutely.
So how different is this year's offense compared to last year? Not better or worse, but different.
Well, I just feel like we have a lot more options. I feel like we have a lot more people to go to. I feel like it's not just me. Because I feel like last year it's a lot more of just me, and a lot of the teams that we played just had to zone in on me. But now we have threats from all over the field, and if you just try to rely on me, you're going to get beat by one of our receivers.
Well, yeah, because it's not just you rushing either. You guys got a guy that in the same vein as Geneva, he's a quarterback, and he's knocking on the door in the rushing category in Grant Hitchcock.
Yeah, he's a young dude, but he can move. He's got it. If you give him a little bit of an open hole, he's going to take it.
And so, without disclosing the play, but I guess I want to ask what your favorite run play is.
Probably
the one when they call it, you're like, yep, I can't wait for this.
Game time.
Yeah, I like the inside zone. I really like that a whole lot.
Okay.
Without giving away too much.
Yeah, right. I mean, we don't want to talk too much. The coaches do watch the show.
Because Coach Anna will be at our neck.
Right.
Mine too.
Not Brandon. He wouldn't do something like that now.
No.
Yeah.
So we asked everybody this. It's an important question. You had 278 yards. You had 6 touchdowns. Who do you have to thank for this? Everybody's got to get a little help along the way. Who helped you out for this phenomenal performance?
Oh, definitely my O-line. My O-line has pushed them around last week. Had a bunch of pancakes. Just wide open holes. But then also our receivers, because they really pushed the ball downfield for me to score again.
Yeah, having that's a double threat there. I mean, just the potential, when you guys line up, because you guys are generally in a spread formation, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I know it's not every down, but spreading the field out like that helps a man that can run. What did you tell me earlier? What was your 40 time?
4.49.
Yeah, anybody that can hit the edge like you, when we covered that game, like I was saying earlier, man, you hit the edge and you just wait. Hold on, let me do this. You do what we call the old Sonic, just rocking through it, baby, just hitting the corner and you're gone, man. I mean, if the first guy doesn't get you, there's no chance, is what I've seen. I just think it's amazing, but
we watched you guys against Girard. Even though the penalties took about 150 yards away from you, because you had 2 big giant breakaway plays. when you hit the corner, you're one of few guys in the county. I don't know if anybody's going to catch you.
Yeah.
Including Coach Hannah, which I said earlier, and I'll stick to my guns on that. Stick to my guns on that.
He's getting a little old.
All right, so so obviously, anywho, you're a senior, so obviously, school. You've kind of got to experience, a very unique year to say the least, for football, for school, for all that. But obviously, eventually, all this is going to move on. What's your plans for the future?
I really want to go into college football. Hopefully.
Okay.
I have like an offer from BW, Baldwin Wallace, and I have some other schools looking at me.
So you could wear that same shirt. It would just be a little bit weird on the colors. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the Falcons. I just processed that myself
Nice
too.
pull on that. What do you want to do when you get to college, Danny?
Yeah.
You mean academic wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I really want to go into business.
Smart move.
Nice.
Smart move.
Anything in particular, or just like a business management type degree?
I think I want to get my MBA eventually.
Okay.
Smart move.
Love it.
Smart move.
Love to hear that from the youth from this area, man. I genuinely do. We'd love to hear it.
So another thing that's become, we're trying to make it a thing, I guess, here on the show is you are going to be the recipient of a 4-4-0 and goal Player of the Week T-shirt, and that is, bear with me real quick, I got to bring up our sponsor here. Sponsored by Made in Ohio, beautiful, historic Ashtabula Harbor.
Downtown Ashtabula Harbor.
If you need anything done custom-wise, you're going to want to go see the guys over at Made in Ohio. They're going to take care of you in a very, very fast and effective fashion. But, Danny, what's your shirt size, my friend?
I'm a medium.
You're
So,
a medium.
Everybody's a medium. I don't get it. You guys must be eating like lean beef out there or something. Everybody in this area. I don't think I ever was a medium in my lifetime. I went to Penny's and got pants and they were husky. Good night. Hey, listen. What are the chances? So we usually, I just came up with this thought. So usually on the back of the shirt, it will have your number with your name. Just throwing this out there, kick the dust around a little bit. What do you think about putting Sonic on the back of it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Maybe we'll do Sonic or last name up at the top and put Sonic on the bottom, but we'll figure something out. Because Sammy is the king of consistency. Let me tell you that. Like, he's over there having a panic attack right now because something's getting changed
It's raging.
a little bit. So,
but you know what? On another note, Danny, you are a stand-up person. You're a stand-up athlete. You're a stand-up student. We're very, very happy to have you on the show. We're very proud of what you've done and the way that you're representing this county on a team that you guys have struggled. But one thing we've noticed every single game is you go out there and you put it on the line, no matter what's going on. We recognize that. Your coaches recognize that, and everybody around that. So you should be proud. You're a stand-up young man. I want to thank you for coming on the show for this award.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you again, Danny. Really appreciate it. I can't wait to hear about playoffs this week coming up. Do we know who they have?
Martin's Ferry, and that sounded like a made-up name.
So I have no idea about them. I'll have to do some research, but I do wish you guys the best of luck this. I think for Friday or Saturday, everyone's game seemed to be a little different, but his parents and grandparents are proud. But keep up the good work, Danny, and give it to those Martin's Ferries boys or whatever. Ferry Martin. Did I say it wrong? I probably did.
I don't even know.
Yeah, nothing. But give it to them this weekend, man.
I refer to them as the team that Jefferson's going to beat this week.
Right. Yeah, because Sonic here is going to come rolling around the edge and let everyone know about it. So we'll get you out of here, Danny. Go do your schoolwork, whatever it is. I don't know. You're 18, that 17-year-olds do on a Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Probably some Fortnite, something cool. So All right, buddy.
Yeah. Scouting report here.
But we'll get Danny off first real quick so he can do his thing. Thank you so much, Danny. Enjoy the rest of your evening, buddy. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you guys too. Thank you.
No problem.
So Ryan,
Danny
the reason I
Bruckman,
wanted to bring it up, defenses expect against run-heavy teams. So Danny should feast.
Yeah. And,
nice.
They not only have Danny Bruckman, they've got one of the best offensive coordinators in the area as well, who's going to jump all over that. I think people are going to be quick to write off Jefferson because of, the 1-5 record. Jefferson is a lot better than I've said it every single week this year.
Yep.
They have shot themselves in the foot a couple times, and it kills them. They get touchdowns called back off dumb plays, and now, in a shortened season where the coaching, everything's starting to come together, they're starting to look good. They're starting to look very good.
Yeah. I do want to shout out Sergeant Brandon. Someone say his last name for me?
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Okay. I just want to say thank you because you know what? Whether it's a live stream like we do now or during the games, you are always giving us information. I don't know how you come up with it. It's like you're reading Sammy's mind. I don't know whether y'all are like texting or what. But you just gave me the complete 411. I guess I'm going old on everybody here, but on that school, who they won against, who they lost, and a run-heavy team. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. Sorry, Sammy, to interrupt you. I just want to make sure I said that.
No, you're right. You're good, Ryan. So that's I listen to all the Jefferson Falcons fans out there that are watching, and anybody who's going to watch this after. I want just the same way that Tellis Andrews has become the road runner in Conneaut and Brian Bisbee has become BPB over in Edgewood. You got to start calling Bruckman Sonic. That's got to be what it is.
It's got to be what it is. I'm telling you, when I said earlier, we covered that game 2 weeks ago. When that man hits the edge, he gets around the defensive end. He is gone. He's gone when he takes his cutback and finds the gap. And again, shout out to the Jefferson offensive line because no running back runs for 278 yards, I think it was, 73, whatever it may have been, without you guys putting up a good standout performance for him to help him out and the rest of your team. So,
well, you know what else is? They got two guys out there that play a big part in that, okay? Trent Hodge and Austin Jones both lay crazy good blocks, especially for receivers. And when that lane is open, that's all you got. All you got to give Bruckman is an inch, and he's gone.
Yeah, he really is.
Start to overlook on him, Hitchcock kills him.
Yeah.
So this Jefferson offense, it's fun. It's very fun to watch.
Yeah.
But you know what? There was a couple other games that happened this weekend too. Let's bring up the scoreboard, guys.
All right.
So here was your local scores from this week. Pymatuning Valley, boy, they go out there. We're going to discuss them a little bit too because those guys played so well that they're getting the week off.
Yep. Shout out to PV for getting a bye week.
And then the Lakers are going to host a playoff game with the winner versus in the Hillsdale champion game is going to come to Andover and get their butt kicked. Another game that happened this week, Perry actually gets over on Geneva. Geneva has their first tough game of the year.
Sure, they did. It was tough. That whole game we kept thinking too, Sammy and Tom. We kept thinking, is Geneva sitting people? Something was going on. But then we found out that Perry running back that is committed to what school?
West Virginia.
To West Virginia, I do believe ran up about 400 yards on them boys. That was a tough contest for Perry.
Yeah, Jalen Anderson accounted for 5 touchdowns, including 4 on the ground. He is a absolute beast. He played very well against Lakeside. You know what? I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought the way that they showed up against Lakeside, I don't know if that just served as like a wake-up call to Perry, because you can't tell me that the same team that played against Lakeside, and Lakeside almost beat them, that they went out there and did that to Geneva, because Geneva's a better team than that.
Yeah, that is a very good point. It's just I don't know what happened. I would like to sit down a little bit and talk to them, but no one really wants to talk about that kind of loss. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, they really couldn't get the running game going. Charlie Taylor has a pretty decent night. It was like 84 yards somewhere in there. Unfortunately, the other parts of the three-headed monster, Jalen Anderson becomes Hercules and cuts off two heads of the three-headed monster.
Right.
Sabona has like 15 yards. Pete has like 15 yards. Somehow they figured out how to bottle up that defense or that Geneva offense. Here's what I can tell you. This week, that ain't going to be the case. Geneva is going to host the Red Raiders, and Geneva is going to be pardon my language, they're going to be pissed off that they lost that last game.
Yeah, Chip's not going to walk in and take a smack to the face like that and be okay with it.
I'm telling you, when we start going game picks, I think Geneva wins big this week. Like statement game big. I don't think Harvey understands what they're walking into.
Yeah. They already played once, didn't they?
Yeah, and they got smacked there too.
Yeah, they got smacked there. So yeah, but I mean, Geneva's going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. I really see a big turnaround coming over the weekend. But sometimes the best wins are losses. To be honest with you, as crazy as that's to say.
You know what, Ryan? You're right. Like sometimes a good team has to get reminded. Like you still have to show up every Friday. And I guarantee you that Coach Sorber and Coach Pete and Coach Shimsky and our guy Corlew.
Yep.
Let them boys have it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? It was good too. It was good. But anyways, that's what it was. It just processed to me. Sorry about that. No, I'd rather see them get the loss where they did than go into week 1 and have a hiccup. Week 7 and have that hiccup. Coming and going into the playoffs, you got to be ready. I said it all year. You could be 0-6. You still are playoff bound this year. You're still playoff bound. So you got to come in, treat every game like a scrimmage, because to be genuine with you, the only games that matter right now are the next game up on the docket, except for PV, because they got to buy.
Apparently, and I don't mean to start a brush fire here, but I probably will here. Apparently, those guys are from Painesville, which means that Harvey has the last 2 Division I athletes, Painesville Harvey.
Yeah,
because it's Chris Fields and him, and I can't think of anybody else in between.
Yeah, I mean, things are getting real. You know what I mean? This weekend is going to really determine a lot.
Yeah, it's Perry.
What's that?
It's Perry, where Jalen Anderson's from. I thought.
No, I believe they are from Painesville, moved to Perry.
Right.
Oh, I thought they were from Massillon for some reason. I thought they went to like Massillon and then came like out here. God, I'm way off.
Regardless, that man plays for Perry and he runs the ball for Perry. That's what we got 5 of those things. That's right. All right, so there we go.
Let's talk about a little bit of another game that was going off. Speaking of Harvey, Harvey walked into another buzzsaw as they go into Corlew Stadium and Butchko and the boys get busy.
Yeah, that one play that you showed with that touchdown, it was like a muffed. Obviously that wasn't drawn out, even though I guess let's be real. It could have been. It's Butchko. Butchko could have said, hey, go ahead and fumble the ball, drop it a couple times, and then he's going to be wide open, chuck it down the field, but yet to be able to have.
We need to know right now if you guys have a direct snap mess up play.
Right. It's very possible.
Because they a little mishandle on there, and that's one of my favorite things about Zach Winchell. Zach Winchell is he's a gamer. He's a gamer. Yeah. He's not very easily frazzled. So it's a muffed, they mishandle the snap. He picks the ball up, has enough wherewithal to see Curry down there, and drops a dime on that guy.
Yeah, he did. He put it right on the numbers, man.
Yeah, Zach Winchell. The kid's a gamer.
There comes Butchko.
For the year, he's got over 1,300 passing yards. The boys boasting, a beautiful 92.9 QBR. He's an absolute gamer, but it doesn't hurt that he's got, BPB in his backfield and he's got three guys in the county leaders of receiving on his offense with him. So
one of which is crawling up the ladder. One of which is crawling up the ladder after basically 3 games of not playing, and he's already up there. And that's big number 11, Isaiah Harris.
Yeah.
Zay, I mean, Zay, you look at him. I mean, he's creeping up to the 475 mark in receiving yards, going for almost 25 yard per catch average, 3 touchdowns on the year, and the boys averaging about 70, almost 79 yards receiving a game. I mean, that's insane. I mean, good on him. He came back from a nasty injury, has battled some other adversity this year, and he's balling out, man. They're calling 7-11, and I'm a believer in it. I'm a believer in 7-11.
Yeah, the fun part is what you.
It's 7-11, and I'm drinking a Slurpee and watching it.
The fun part with those two kids, if I recall, I was told that they've been boys for a long time. Correct?
Yeah, they're friends forever, man.
Some of the stuff that they do is it's natural. It's not natural and instinctual. It just happens. You can't teach it. You can't plan it. It's just what happens. And for those guys to do what they do out on the field, what did they put up? 37 points on Harvey. 37 points. Like we said at the beginning of the show, man. I mean, this week was nuts. The amount of points that were put up in Ashtabula County. Yeah.
If you look at the highlights of that game, you really would think it was like 50. Because
right.
It's not just those two either. You got guys like Jake Bell, who and I'm guilty of it myself. I forget about that guy because he's like an undercover killer. Like as soon as and Isaiah Harris also gets I want to give him a cute shout out too, because playing 2 ways again makes a difference on both sides of the ball. Gets an interception, returns it for a touchdown. Isaiah Harris and Zach Winchell, for those of you guys watching, all the defensive coordinators in the county, get ready for a chill to go down your spine. They're juniors. You have to deal with it again.
Yes, you do. And then I don't know, what did my boy Troy Peterson do? Big Troy. Did he have some numbers up in that game? We got to shout out the O-line, and we don't have stats for the O-line, which I think next year we may change that. And I mean, I think I'm gonna start sending pancakes to people's houses, man.
You know what? I'm sorry, Coach Winchell. You're right. Christian Curry has gone widely unrecognized here, and every week he is a gamer. He puts stats up every single week. They've got that wide receiving core is something else. You've got a dynamic quarterback with a bunch of dynamic receivers. You've got coaches that know what they're doing, and then you've got a head coach who is probably the gutsiest dude I've ever met on the football field. It's a recipe for fun football.
It is. That's the most exciting part about Edgewood football. You genuinely you don't know what's going to happen on a Friday night. You have no clue walking into that game what you're going to see. He might punt it. I don't know. He might just ricochet it off somebody's helmet and hope for the best. Who knows? You don't know with Butchko, man. But they do a great job over there. It's exciting. It's fun. And, big compliment out to the Edgewood Warriors fan base, because regardless whether we're covering Edgewood or not, you guys are on here week in and week out. I've said it so many times, and I don't like to put a number on things, but I'll just say, if I had to guess what the biggest fan base is for our show, I'm going to go with Edgewood. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. Like, Edgewood is really good at showing up and showing out, but it's hard not to when you got 7-11 on the sideline. Well, on the playing field.
Yeah, and Troy Peterson, just before we move on, I know he did get a ton of tackles. He's one of the leaders in tackles for loss. He's one of the leaders in sacks. He, unfortunately, we don't keep pancakes, and we also don't keep when he just runs right through people like a steam train as an offensive lineman. He's really an above average student and athlete as well as person. He's a very respectful kid. Edgewood has a great program. Wonderful, wonderful program. Love the guys. Love those guys. I love everything going on over there. They also have one of the coolest athletic directors we've ever met.
Yep.
So we're going to move on. We talked a little bit about Jefferson with that 49-7 victory over Lakeview. So we'll touch on them again at the end of the game, or at the end of the show, as when we talk about playoff matchups. But the next game we should talk about, guys, is Lakeside versus Orange. Lakeside gets the dub, baby.
Yep, and in some high class fashion, man. There was some points scored in that game too. Those guys were going all out there, and that was also without Sean Allgood playing quarterback, if I recall right. Correct?
Yeah. So, all kinds of craziness going on in this world with, can he play, all that other stuff. We're not going to go super far into that, but it was just a week of unsure. And what they do is they do what Dragons do. They pivot. They figure it out. So they've got this little guy, and I say little because, he's shorter than most people. He's definitely taller than me, but I'm Danny DeVito. They got this guy over there, number 6, by the name of Jay-Sean Sanders.
Yeah.
Jay-Sean Sanders, I see sparks on him. He reminds me of watching an old school running back in Josh Cooper. Low center of gravity guy. They run north and south. When you tackle them, you really rethink if you want to still play defense because they lay hammers on you.
Yeah, they do.
He ends up I want to say he accounts for 4 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah,
he had a. Go ahead, Tom.
I mean, just for the year, Jay-Sean Sanders, he definitely shot up our list, man. I mean, almost 660 yards rushing, running for about 5.6 a carry, 8 touchdowns. I mean, the kid has been consistent all year when he's been able to play. I know first game, who were they playing? West Geauga?
Yeah, West G.
You know who they were playing.
Whoever Trey Zimmerman plays for. There was some questionable stuff going on. Helmet kept coming off, which I didn't understand. And then he was injured the one game.
Yeah.
But, he's still firmly within the top 3 of our rushing category. And Jay-Sean has been the one constant this year for the Lakeside offense as everything has been changing and kind of getting a little – out of sorts a little bit, if you want to say that during games when, maybe uncertainty with quarterback or, the receivers might not be catching. Jay-Sean's still going to produce for you.
Yeah, I really think that Coach Edwards over there, they deserve shout out too. Coach Edwards, both Coach Edwards.
Yeah. Jason Baxter.
The whole squad over there. My boy Jason Baxter. I say he's my boy because Ryan can't remember his name.
I said it before you did. Thank you. But I'm totally guilty. I forget everybody's name. I'll remember your face.
They are awesome over at Lakeside. They also make it so great to cover there. We love getting over there. We are graduates over there, so it's fun to get back home. Beautiful field, beautiful facility, and the fan base is great.
Yep.
I am so proud of those guys to, after much like Jefferson, they have a tough year this year. Things don't go the way that they want. They've been close. They've been real close on multiple occasions. But they figure out a way to pull it out. They go down to Pepper Pike and pepper them with touchdowns.
Yeah.
43 points on there. Now, I'll tell you what, defense probably had to do some up downs because they gave up 40 of them things.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
It's one of those nights, especially for a two-way starter. You're like, yes. Oh, man.
It's going to suck on Monday.
Yeah, but, good job for the Lakeside Dragons going down to Pepper Pike. And
they finally got over the hill, man. That was their biggest thing all year. They had a couple games where they got taken. You know what I mean? But most of their games, they were dogfights, and, they just couldn't push it over the edge. And, last Friday night was a change of scenery for them, and I'm sure it felt good for Edwards and the boys over there.
And they got a guy, Ryan. He's your guy, Rafa.
Yeah,
phenom.
Yeah, he really is.
Bar none, the most underrated player in the county.
Yeah, he truly is.
Underrated player in the county.
Oh, AJ Rafa has the stats to back it up, man. Cat's all over the field on defense. He's contributing in the pass and run game. AJ Rafa is definitely a name we're going to be saying for the foreseeable future, and I can't wait to see how he blossoms in Buzz Edwards' system, because I think Edwards has a special player, and once Edwards kind of gets him into a defined role, maybe gets like we saw that one kid that for LeBray, that Trevon Drake, who was literally listed in the X, Y, and Z position.
Good point, Tom.
Position.
Yeah.
I think Rafa, you could plug him in at that X, Y, Z position and truly just make him kind of like an NFL reference, kind of like Taysom Hill for the Saints. I think if you can get Alec Rafa in a Taysom Hill type role in that Dragon offense, it's going to be very scary going forward, and it's going to be really nice to see.
Biggest thing is he got them linebacker shoulder pads though some nights, so and that ain't gonna help him.
Hey, he's got linebacker shoulder pads, but Carl Lewis legs.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Listen, all that cat's got to do is pull a Mark Wahlberg in Invincible and put on kicker pads, and it's over.
Yep.
So another game, one of our game of the week and our streamed game of the week was actually LeBray versus Conneaut. So that game doesn't go the way Conneaut wants. But also, again, we got to take a moment here. Stop Spark out in Conneaut. If you haven't been, when you can go because it's gorgeous. I haven't been to that Conneaut. I haven't been to Joplin Field in probably 20 years. It's wildly different. Very beautiful to go in there and catch a game. I think Ryan said that so far it's felt the most like high school to him.
Right. Yeah, sitting up in that press. Well, one, shout out to the director out there and the athletic director, and I ain't getting those names right, but shout out there to them. We walk up into the press box and we got our names taped to a table on a piece of paper, which I think Tom kept, which I'm pretty excited about.
That's
Joel
Joel Taylor is
thank you
out there. He deserves his name to be.
Thank you so much, Joel.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, but they redid all the stands out there. That's all new steel, beautiful natural grass field. They do a great job of maintaining it, and having us up in the press box there, finding the spot for us was amazing to have us there. So thank you guys again out at Spark.
It's just gorgeous out there. It really is. Now, Conneaut has a tough night.
I was going to say, that's the first field I've been to where there was a campfire just that would have been west of the end zone. I had to shout that one out. But, yeah, Conneaut did have a tough night. Sorry to interrupt you, Sammy.
No, it's okay. Honestly, so we're just going to go through kind of Conneaut's tough night. Unfortunately, the turnover bug gets them.
Yep.
Right from the gate, they start – so let's be honest, LeBray and the way that offense in LeBray was playing, particularly it was Trayvon Drake and Austin
Sanders, I believe.
Austin Sanders, and then whoever the quarterback was. Those three guys got busy. Trayvon particularly is one of the best receivers I've seen all year. Conneaut was trying their darndest to cover him.
Yeah, Mandigello had a tough game.
Yeah, Mandigello out there because there's some. Unfortunately, Slayton is unable to play at that time, so Mandigello has to step in, and he has some turnovers, and then you get turnovers, and then those turnovers turn into points because the wide receiver and Clark. I want to say the running back name is Clark.
Well, we did. I was going to say, we did talk about it while we were up there, while we were on break, and we were talking about the amount.
Sergeant Brandon Puerto Rica. It was Aiden Stevens was the quarterback.
Not Sanders.
Yeah. Trayvon Drake and something Clark. But those three guys really had a big day. And you know what?
But they didn't put up the funny part was they didn't put up that many yards. Remember we were talking about it in the first half? No. All three of us were, and I said, well, that's what happens when you take the ball over at the 30-yard line of the opposing team's field every time because of interceptions or fumbles. So it was a tough night for Conneaut, but you'll have those nights.
It does. And Conneaut, we're going to talk. Go ahead, Tom.
The one thing I did notice from that Conneaut and LeBray game was that both sides were getting into penalty problems, but there was a difference between the two teams because one team was able to rectify the problems they were having when they had penalties, while the other team kind of wasn't. So LeBray, they had 3 straight holding calls or penalties of some sort, and they were able to bounce back. Unfortunately, Conneaut wasn't able to kind of correct those problems and capitalize down the field. So I really want to give a shout out to LeBray's coach because, that definitely comes down to coaching. You know what I mean? And Rocco, fantastic coach, fantastic dude. But that LeBray coach was definitely able to coach those dudes up and show them, hey, just because we committed the penalties, we just need to get it back. Let's keep it going. And they did it every time. That Trayvon Drake kid's a monster over the middle. There was no answer for that. which kind of stunk. You know,
I don't know. So I see what you're saying, but I guess more what I saw during that game, I don't know if I would call it coaching as much as turnovers. Turnovers were the killer. LeBray had like none. So after penalties would accrue for Conneaut, Zach Rice would pop off a big run, or Tellis Andrews had two big
did.
He
did.
The Roadrunner scores twice on the same play series because they call one back. So Conneaut has things working. I think the play calling was going. You can't turn over the ball, and that's it's not. You can't bust Mandagello up too much for that because he was supposed to be the athletic one. So it just got sometimes when that ball starts rolling, it's hard to stop it. And they were behind the 8 ball there, and that's okay because sometimes that's going to happen. But this week, and we'll talk about that, I guess, at the end about their playoff matchup. Those boys got to get ready.
Yeah, they do big time.
Crestwood 21 over Grand Valley. Grand Valley, unfortunately, going to go 0-6 this year on the regular season, but Grand Valley is going to take on Beechwood, who was just won against Conneaut last week.
Yeah, they did.
And then we get to talk about another game we got to cover. Those St. John Heralds take on the Shocker Wildcats, and it is a wild game.
We had a lot of fun at that game. One for me, 4-4 on goal may have invested in a new camera, which made our stream that much better. I was very excited about that. But 2, I had the Zoom function on point, in my opinion. It gave Sammy a panic attack, so I knew it was working right. Yep. I love being the cameraman. I don't know why I do, but I do. But it's fun. But yeah, it was so fun to watch those guys come out and have a good game. St. John's had a tough year all year. Playing with 21 guys, it's tough. Most of those guys are running Ironman football back and forth. But it was really fun to watch them excel. And then, I don't know, we should have cut the clip out. I just thought about it. But watching Mr. Mercilliot pull the good old Madden, can't get the ball out of my hand and kick it off with your foot.
Wasn't Mercilliot.
Who was it?
Jack
Hammers was the best
Jack Hammers. I knew that.
In the county.
Yeah.
Jack Hammers.
I knew that too. But yeah, it was really fun to watch. They had a lot of turnovers.
The Machine Mercilliot gets an absolute ton of tackles in there. We do have a couple because we had all the touchdowns out there. We got a couple highlights from that. The first one I want to show, and this one is one that I'm actually really, really happy to see because this kid's coming off of an injury, and it's good to see him returning to form. David Fuentes is a Catch of the Year candidate right here with this one.
All you refs watching, let us know what's going on here because we're trying to figure it out. That's all right. It's time for, oh boy, who's got this one? Got it!
Yeah, just good job getting up and going after it, finding the ball, spotting it, and taking it in. Yeah.
That was sweet.
Yeah, he was. And then on the following play there, so you got to kind of take that into account. So that play right there is actually after they called back a play on David DeSalvatore when he broke about 15 tackles.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, because he cut it up the middle.
Personal foul. He breaks a bunch of tackles, scores. They call it back on a personal foul because of what I believe they called it a blindside block.
Yes.
What it was.
It was about 5 yards away from the end zone because remember they still got the ball back on like the 25 or something like that, 29 or whatever it was.
For all you guys watching out there, if you are going to block somebody and they are not looking, you have to lead with your hands.
Yes, you do.
So if you don't lead with your hands, they're going to call blindside block, and they're going to take away your top 10 highlight touchdown.
Yeah.
But Dave DeSalvatore actually does have another highlight on here. I wish we would have had the low light. I thought you were doing that because that was hilarious.
That's it, yeah.
So
I got to say, so everyone knows what Dave DeSalvatore did. And I might have to cut it and then bring it up because we are covering St. John on Saturday. Maybe have that as a little tidbit. He did kick the ball about 40 yards vertical in about 4 yards deep. It was. And then we did hear that he may have tried to kick off the placeholder's hand, but that's neither here nor there.
But so that was when they try and kick a field goal. But here is Dave DeSalvatore, one of his plays of the game amongst all the other touchdowns and everything. For those of you who don't know, Pat McAfee is a NFL kicker, and Dave DeSalvatore doing his best impression of him.
And he set the kick. Ooh, little squib. I'll take. He got.
Oh, you know what? Now that I look at that, if you replay that, they should not have gotten the ball back. Replay that. Look where.
And he set the kick. Ooh, little squib. I'll take. He got.
Oh,
No,
maybe they did. Yeah, no, they're good. I thought I misread it. Yeah.
But yeah, he gets the old onside and self recover. One of it seemed like a million plays in that game. Tom, your boy Dan Miller ends up with a big pick six in that game.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch.
It's just crazy. Like when we talk about like Dan Miller, Thomas Miller, those guys, because like I had them in my classroom when they were real young, and I never like anticipated saying their names on like a Friday night. You know what I mean? Because they were just such nice, quiet kids, you know. And now kids just laying wood and making big plays, and it's awesome to see, man. Like now I feel super old. You know what I mean? Like
kids have that effect on people, man. You get
it's
old,
crazy.
they don't.
It's crazy, but I'll tell you, man. Dan Miller, awesome player, has always been an awesome kid. His brothers, the two twins, wild kids, but they're great, and great family too. I'll tell you.
I'll tell you another play that happens in that game before we move on was Andrew Miller for the St. John Heralds. They punt the ball, and Andrew Miller, I've never seen anything like it, literally goes down and forcefully pulls the ball out of the receiving team's hands. I've never seen anything quite like it. He pulls the ball out of his hands and scores. And there was a bit of confusion as we were covering it. And this is another, we'll call it rule learning during a game. You cannot advance a muffed punt in Ohio high school football.
Did not know that. Yep. Until Saturday.
Rule. That's an interesting rule.
Yeah, that's super weird to me.
That's just a wild rule to me. Like I was super confused when you guys said that the other day. I was like, well, why not?
Yeah, you should have seen me on the field. You know, I get a little bit emotional.
Yeah, it's an understatement. It's an understatement.
I was ready to fight the refs. I didn't care that we were up by 40.
Yep. Oh, but
did I not say Andrew Williams?
You said Andrew Miller, brother, but I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I knew what you meant. That's what matters.
Andrew Williams. I am sorry. I apologize for that one. Thanks to Coach Marcus. But wait a minute. I think that was the last game. Yeah.
So that was the last game.
So, guys, let's start talking playoffs.
Yeah, so week 7 is on our heels. It's right around the corner. This is when playoffs begin.
So you know what? You know how we do it, fellas. Let's you can pick your game of the week and you call your winner there. But for each game, each person on the panel is going to pick their player of that game and who's going to make the biggest difference in the win for said team. We're going to start with Geneva versus Harvey. You guys want to go first, or I'll start it? It doesn't matter to me.
I'll hit it. I mean, Geneva, Scabona's got to come out, man. It's on him. He's kind of had, honestly, if you look at his numbers, they don't pass a lot in Geneva. We've always talked about it. They have the wing tee, but Scabona's got to come out on the ground. They're still going to give him a handoff. QB keeps. He needs to put up 100, 150 yards and make a statement coming into this game to roll into the second round of the playoffs. And Geneva takes this.
How about you, Tom?
I think Geneva's going to take it handedly. I think the key to the game is going to be Brady Pete because everyone's expecting Charlie Taylor to go out there and just run over everyone. But Brady Pete brings that different dimension in, and I think Brady Pete's going to be the catalyst to a lot of points being scored by Geneva. I think he's going to throw back to his brother Blake. and have himself a hell of a game.
Well, guys, my pick for this game is going to be Charlie Taylor, and here's why. He took a lot of heat this week because of the loss that Geneva incurred against Perry. And I think a lot of people were riding his case. But here's the deal. Charlie Taylor's the real deal, and if you piss off a bull, watch out. So I think Charlie Taylor is going to run for 190 yards against Harvey. I think he's going to be good for 3 scores. I think Brady Pete's going to get in there. I think Scabona is going to do his thing. I think Charlie Taylor is going to be the story in that game when Geneva wins their first playoff game in beautiful Geneva Spire over the Harvey Red Raiders. I think they're going to win this game by at least 21.
It's not a bad bet.
Then we got next on the docket, Lakeside at Nordonia. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about Nordonia, but what I do know is Lakeside.
Puerto Rico be here soon, and that's how I'll know who I'm talking about.
What's that?
Sergeant Puerto Rico.
Oh, is he going to give us info on Nordonia?
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
I'll go first on this one.
Yep.
So for Lakeside, I'll go big on this one because I don't know if it's necessary. Look at him. I'm telling you, right is rain. Always on time, baby.
He must type. He's got to type about 800 words a minute.
So they've got wins over Barberton, Wadsworth, losses to Hudson, Highland, Stowe, Monroe Falls. Is a pass-heavy offense whose main target is Joe with 554. So they're pass-heavy against Lakeside. Okay. I actually like that. I like pass-heavy against Lakeside because Lakeside's got the athletes to keep up with them. My player of the game, I'm going to go big. I think if Sean Allgood gets put back at quarterback, I think he's going to be player of the game. I think he's going to go out there because it's playoff time and show out. So Sean Allgood, I'm not going to call a winner for this just because I don't know enough. And my game lock of the week is still coming up. Or my game lock of this week is going to be Geneva over Harvey. That's my game pick of the week. So I'm going to say the player of the game in this one is going to be Sean Allgood. I think Sean Allgood throws for 315 yards with 3 touchdowns in the air and 1 rushing touchdown.
Who's why can't I? Who's it's going to be on Lakeside's defense to stop this. They've shown, they're giving up points. They got to come back around, but I can't think about the tackle leader right off the top of my head for Lakeside.
Are you talking about AJ or are you talking about Big Donahue?
With Rafa's the tackle leader, so we'll call them both. Why not? So Rafa and Donahue need to have big games, but honestly, it's going to be on Lakeside's defense to if they want to get to round 2, they got to go there. So I'm going to go, Lakeside's defense will be the player of the game for me. I know you always give me crap about that, but I don't care. Do not care.
Brian's a politician.
So Lakeside going against Nordonia. There's some stuff going on with Nordonia right now. Best not talk about it, but you can look it up. It's widely known, but I think Lakeside's going to go in there. I think Lakeside definitely has found their groove. I think they found their rhythm. And I think the player of the game for them is probably going to end up being Jay Sean Sanders. And I feel Jay Sean is going to run for about $180 and 3 touchdowns. And I just don't think Nordonia has the size up front to really compete with that. So I am going to take Lakeside in a big upset.
So that's your game pick of the week?
That's not my game pick of the week. I got a game pick of the week. Don't you worry.
I think we're all confused on what we're picking on, but it's fine. So Conneaut at Cardinal Mooney. I'm not going to lie. Conneaut's got a tough hill to climb. And I know Cardinal Mooney's record shows 1-5, but I will tell you those 5 losses were not from just your old boys down the road. Those were tough teams they lost to. Conneaut's got a tough game. Mr. Slayton's got to show up and show out. We know, let's see. Steubenville, Warren G. Harding, Youngstown Channing, Boardman, and Ursuline is who they lost to. and not by much in all of them. So, but anyways, yeah, Mr. Slayton's got to show up, show out. It's on him this week.
Listen, I'm going to take – this is my game pick of the week. You wanted it, Sam. You got it right here. Conneaut over Cardinal Mooney. And the player of the week is going to be beep, beep, the Road Runner. That boy's going to account for 150 yards receiving, and he's going to score every touchdown Conneaut has, because if there's one person more motivated to keep playing right now, it's Tellis Andrews. He's going to power that team.
Yeah, you know what, Tom? You kind of steal my thunder there, because I think you're right. I think that the wide receiving game is going to be the talk of the town here. I don't think Conneaut is as big an upset over Cardinal as everybody else does. I think you're right, Tom. Conneaut very much has a shot in this game. I think quarterback play is going to be the main deal here. So assuming everybody is playing the way they normally do, to make up for, a week, I think Jake Slayton is going to be my pick for player of the game.
Gotcha. All right, so Edgewood goes up against CVCA.
You're not going to pick one, huh?
I did.
Who'd you pick?
You as a winner or loser?
No, you're player of the game.
I said Mr. Slayton's got to show up or show out. You co-signed with me.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, that's fine. Just because you don't pay attention doesn't mean others don't. Anyways, Edgewood showing up. They're at CVCA. I think you told me what it was earlier, didn't you say?
Cuyahoga Valley Christian Academy.
All right. Let's see. I'm just looking. I don't know really anything about him except what Mr. Brandon's given us. But I am going to go with my big dog, Troy Peterson, a man in the trenches. He's going to have a big game. And the defense is going to have to follow with him. Defense wins championships. I'm sorry, offense wins games. Defense wins championships. I'm still old school with it. So
you are not kidding, but I'll tell you what, with a quarterback like Michael Bevington with 1,034 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, and 915 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, that is a heavy load for the Edgewood Warriors defense. And Ryan, I think you've got the right idea. I'm going to pick Isaiah Harris as who's going to be the big player for this game, and not for what he's going to do as a wide receiver, but as a safety. He is going to have to make a big difference. Isaiah Harris is going to be player of the game based on his defensive play.
Yeah, that CVCA made the playoffs last year. CVCA did it in dominant fashion. They were 8-3 last year, I believe. And they're returning their quarterback who brought them to the playoffs last year. It's going to be a battle for Edgewood. But I put Zach Winchell up against any quarterback that there is. 1,300 passing yards don't lie. I'm going to throw Edgewood coming up and beating these boys, and it's going to be behind the arms of Mr. Zach Winchell. And Zach is, I'm going to say something ridiculous, but I don't care. You guys can make fun of me all you want. Winchell throws for 375 and 5 touchdowns, not one interception. I'm dead serious when I say that too. That boy's a peacock. He's going to show his feathers that night.
It's a ballsy move, Cotton, but I'm not mad at you.
Excuse my language. I don't give a damn.
All right, Grand Valley at Beechwood. Grand Valley is 0-6. What's that?
I said, you hear that, Winchell? I know you're there.
Yeah.
Do it, boy.
I don't really know too much about Grand Valley other than, they got the big running back. Beechwood, though, here's how I'm going to base this. Beechwood's probably is going to get these guys. Beechwood did a, pretty good number on Conneaut, and Conneaut smashes them as well.
Right.
Grand Valley. So I'm going to go with Beechwood. I can't even give a player of the game because I don't know. Yeah, I can. Yes, I can. What's his name? Anyway, I'll come back to it. Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm co-signing with the next one. Is that Middlefield at LeBray? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. So Middlefield at LeBray. We did watch LeBray last week. LeBray took it to Conneaut, man. They really did. That quarterback wide receiver connection they have there. I think it's going to be tough for Middlefield. Again, another team, Middlefield, not knowing too much about. We did have them on at the beginning of the year, but that's really about it, unfortunately. But I do believe LeBray is going to take this one.
This is going to be my upset pick of the week. I think Middlefield's going to beat LeBray. I do. So here's why. Middlefield throws the ball very, very well. And Conneaut had wide receivers open against LeBray. I won't say they threw the ball well, but Conneaut had lots of wide receivers open against LeBray. So LeBray is not going to be able to run the ball because Middlefield's offense and defensive line is ridiculously big. I think George Gresco is going to put his stamp on Cardinal Middlefield this week by getting a win over LeBray. LeBray's going to win. Middlefield's going to win a playoff game this week.
I co-sign with you, Sammy. I followed Middlefield this year because Gresco I loved him when we were on. And they got this cat slinging the football named Joey Soltis. And you don't teach 6'3", 210.
No, you cannot.
No, you can't. So I'm going to tell you right now, Middlefield Cardinal, you got a former accomplished high school quarterback dictating your team and your offense. He knows what it takes to win. He's going to get that Soltis kid lined up, ready to go. I'm going to say Middlefield Cardinal takes it to LeBray, and they shut down Trayvon Drake because Middlefield Cardinals defense ain't too shabby either. So
they're not
winning them a playoff game. They're winning.
I do. I think Middlefield Cardinal. I know whatever call it crazy, call it what you want, but call it. I think Gresco is going to. I think he's going to get his name out here in the world by grabbing this win right here this week.
All right, moving on. Last one on the docket. Jefferson coming in 1-5 at Martins Ferry, who's 3-3. Martins Ferry is another team I have no idea about. I even took a quick moment to, in the background here, look at the record, who they beat. But all these teams are, one's from Wheeling, West Virginia. So I genuinely, I'm not even going to guess. My heart lies in Ashtabula, so I am going to go ahead and just pick Jefferson over Martins Ferry because I want to see the Falcons move on.
All I know is that they are called the Purple Raiders. That's it. I think that the rushing game is what it's going to be this week. Jefferson's defense is going to have to play their butt off. They're going to have to play their game of the year. And rushing is going to be a huge portion. But my player of this game, if Jefferson's going to beat Martins Ferry, is going to have to be Grant Hitchcock. Grant Hitchcock is going to have to keep hold of the ball.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, Jefferson has a killer at running back in Danny Bruckman. Martins Ferry has a killer at running back too in Trevor Hansen, and a killer at fullback in Evan Carpenter. It's going to be an uphill battle. But like we said earlier, you don't catch Sonic when he hits that edge. They're big boys up front at Martins Ferry, but I don't think those big boys up front on that defensive line are going to be able to
keep
catch
up.
Danny Bruckman.
Yeah.
Jefferson upsets. Brandon Hanna and Ed Rankin get their names out there as if they weren't already. They win their first playoff game, and Jefferson rolls.
We'll take the deal.
You know who I think has the toughest job of all the playoff teams coming up this week? Is the defensive coordinator for the Nordonia. And here's why. Lakeside has played two completely different games this year with two completely different quarterbacks and two completely different offenses. So they don't know who they're getting. They don't know what they're getting. You're going through a whole week and trying to figure out what you're going to do for one person or another. So what it leads is to a half-crocked practice for each way, and half-crocked doesn't win. Lakeside's going to fool around. I would not be surprised if they win this week.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, they came off their first win of the season, which was due. I mean, they were overdue. That win was like an overcooked turkey. Okay, they needed that to get it done. And I think they're going to come in with some momentum and having Mr. Allgood back at quarterback. If that is the case, I'm not 100% sure of everything, but I think that's going to show. It's going to show a lot. And Siebenbeck, he does a great job. Hopefully, I said his name right, but Siebenbeck, I always mess it up. What else is due? But he does a great job on the other side of the ball too, though. A lot of people forget about that. He plays a good. I do believe he's a linebacker, if I recall right, but good linebacker position. So, but yeah, Lakeside might mess around and show somebody something this weekend.
So we got one more game, guys, that we didn't talk about, and that was St. John versus East Palestine.
If I may, real quick on that Lakeside game, though, if I may.
Go.
Lakeside's got a definite chance. Lakeside's got something we talked about just now. They got Allgood and Siebenbeck. I know we're too young to remember it, but there used to be a thing at the Miami Dolphins called Woodstock. All right. David Woodley and Don Strock would split possessions at quarterback because it showed different looks. I think, if able to, Buzz Edwards should definitely throw that in. And if he does, that's going to be lethal in the playoffs. Buzz Edwards has a great situation there because he has two very unique and good quarterbacks that can give some different looks.
Yeah. And for those of you asking about PV played so well, they don't have a game this week.
Yeah,
so
PV,
they could have
no game.
They are going to take on the winner of the Hillsdale champion game next Saturday.
But I think Sergeant Brandon said, if I recall right, are you saying Hillsdale versus champion, right?
Yeah.
I do believe Brandon said that champion is out due to COVID-related concerns.
So then they play Hillsdale
on week 2.
October 17th at Andover Stadium.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something to watch.
Don't quote me. If you could back me up on that, Brandon. I could have swore that's what I read there.
The other game, so PV, next week you will be the talk of the show. I can promise you that.
Yep.
This week you guys get a much deserved break because you and Coach Croston kicked butt all year. Tyler Bean was out there killing folks this year. But the other game that we're going to talk about is St. John versus East Palestine. That's our 4-4-0 and goal streamed game of the week. Is going to be the St. John Fighting Heralds taking on the East Palestine Bulldogs. We're going to be streaming that live from beautiful Geneva Spire.
Downtown Geneva.
Because we've got some new equipment. The stream I think is going to be a lot. What you saw last week is for that game is going to be our new normal. So you can look forward to a crystal clear stream, and a lot of that is to Ryan. So kudos to Ryan.
And then also thank you, Sam. But don't forget, we are going to be making more of a presence towards YouTube coming up this weekend too. So I know we've had quite a few people ask about it, but we should have it up on YouTube on Saturday for everyone to check out. So, and let's see, that's it on there, right, Sammy?
Yeah, that's going to be it for this week. So listen, everybody keep your eyes peeled. There will 100% be a playoff player of the week. Whoever plays their best this week is going to win player of the week.
Possible interesting news for the future, though. Got to throw a little tidbit out there.
Correct. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We could have some
That's all we can say. That's all we can say. We can't say no more. Stay tuned.
So let's go through our game locks of the week real quick just before we end the show. My game lock of the week this week is going to be – I'm going to go with Geneva over Harvey. That's the easy one. I'm taking the easy one this week.
Stole my thunder. I'm just going to co-sign with you. Geneva over Harvey. Geneva marches into round 2 of the playoffs. Got him. You're muted, Tom. I don't know how you did it, or I did it. I don't know. I tried. Yeah, I don't know if I did it or not. I don't know if you did it.
My game lock.
Okay. I love it. And Zach Winchell, you've asked that question a couple times. Stay tuned, my good man. Stay tuned. From
I'll
here
let
on
you
out,
know.
from here on out, our game of the week, our streamed game. No. We did not.
No, you're good.
We did not say it yet. So from here on out, our game of the week will be a week-to-week basis, announced on Tuesday.
TBD, to be determined.
So stay tuned, baby.
Yep. All right. Are we good? I don't know.
House 5,000, folks.
Let's keep 5,000. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Wow, it is 9:50. Thank you again. Don't forget, real quick, I'm gonna throw this banner up here one more time. T-shirts $17 or 2 for $30. Hoodies $27, 2 for $50. Thank you to everyone who has already ordered. Remember the proceeds. A portion of the proceeds go to benefit the Player of the Year, 440 Goals Player of the Year scholarship we're putting up. That is presented to everyone. Our official sponsor of the Player of the Week is Made in Ohio, located on 1028 Bridge Street in historic downtown Ashtabula Harbor. Anywho, thanks again, guys, for joining the show tonight. Can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. Kickoff is 2 o'clock. Be ready for about 1:45. Excuse me, for us to start live streaming.
All right.
And that's it. Big deuces, if I can hit the right thing. All right, now we're all leaving.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? Practice? No, playoffs. All right, thanks again, guys. I'm going to hit the button. We're going to get out of here. Maybe. Where's it at? There it is.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. Let other get no. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spend it with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all your thoughts, just let it ride. On the baseline in the bleachers, or you gonna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen. When we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.